Welcome back! This is episode 3, and look at how bright that light is. That's why I cover it up. That's why I have a tendency to cover it up. So I'm going to cover it up, and we're going to make some builds today. But we're also going to get started on our spell book. All those things that I told you we were doing last time, we're going to get started on. So, with that, I have to cover up that light just for a minute. Also, I'm hoping that we're going to be getting drops soon of the items that we're going to need. We need blaze powder. We're going to get blaze rods. We'll turn it into blaze powder, and we're also going to need ender pearls. So, yeah. Can't wait for that. Let's grab just some of the R's blocks, and honestly, we're probably going to play around with the R's color scheme here. I'm not sure though. Gray and purple are a little... they're beautiful, but at the same time, it's a little bit stoic. We'll see what happens. Oh yes, and I have to level this up. What do I need to do? Just simply level it up. Excellent. We have not gotten very much source. We've gotten 6%. That's something. Oh, and look, he's harvesting. And I'm getting source berries out of this. Now, you can double dip with these, and I will show you how to do that shortly. In fact, I think I might show you how to do that now, considering we have 2 starbunkles. So we're going to do a mycelial, if I have the stuff to do it. We're going to do a mycelial source link, and that's a way we can kind of get more out of our berries. Get more source, specifically. This one looks a little bit like a mushroom, and it needs mushroom stew, which we have the stuff for, thank goodness. Mostly. Let me see if we have any source gems. I don't have any up here. You know what? I am going to lay a waystone up here for the moment. We'll call it home ship. Wonderful. Needed a source gem. And we're getting a good amount of those now. Woo! And he is still producing the amethyst. When we add more here, after we make the mine and get our amethyst sticking out it, when we make more, we will be able to be fantastic. More amethyst, make a big old bud, I think. It's going to be great. And let's grab our mycelial source link. We'll also grab a hopper. And you know the drill, item frames and such. How in the world do I not have sticks? There we go. Now we're going to stick the mycelial source link right here with our hopper. Not a hopper, actually. Totally forgot about that. Honestly, what you need is a chute. And we're going to use the waystones for a while. So we're going to give it a block space above that. And pop the chute up here. Pop the item frame on top of the chute. And put the source berries there. We're going to reset this one. And if you ever want to see which ones are to which, this one is depositing the amethyst into the hopper and taking the amethyst from there. So blue means taking, red means putting. So we'll reset you one more time. Make a quick cheeky little chest, actually. Grab that chest that we had in our inventory. And pop our item frame up there. Grab our berries, stick them in there. And now, as night falls, we're going to say, hey, store these in that chest. And see, it's cycling it through. I'm certain there's another way to do this. But, yeah. Yeah. For the moment, I'm just going to let it go. And we will use the agronomic source link most of the time. I might make a harvester maboppy for this whole thing, and make a different type of setup than relying on the starbunkles for that just now. Oh, we have a lot of source, though, on top of there, but as you can see, if we are back a little ways, it'll cover the top, but it won't cover the bottoms, so we're going to do some spruce trap doors for now. Oh, and when it starts glowing like that, it means it's full. Oh, and you can see that you get mycelium from this mycelial source link. So, letting you know about that. If you don't like that, which I do because I want the red and brown mushrooms on occasion, if you don't like that, you can put it onto a stone or preferably a non-natural block, because I believe it'll turn stone instead of like stone bricks. So you should use stone bricks and something processed underneath this, otherwise it'll start changing it to mycelium. Now, you can also add more drigmies to this. I would have to go exploring for drigmy tokens though, so I'm not going to go do that at the moment. But you can add more drigmies to that henge and it will be a little bit faster. Or a lot of it, as I've seen before. So, looking over at what all I've got here, I've got a few areas to kind of decorate and maybe change where they are. Because I don't think I want those types of rituals to be right up against, like, pure production stuff. Now, the easiest thing probably to get started on while I'm waiting for all of this would be the mine. Let's talk about it. I think I'm going to go relatively simple. First off, I'm going to get rid of this sand. I'm going to get rid of a good portion of this sand and the sandstone. So, let's go gather some materials and make you look nice. Oh, and every time I pop back up here, I just, grab the leather, throw it in. There's more efficient ways I could use a starbuncle, but I don't really have any to spare at the moment. So we're gonna grab a few stacks of dirt. And I'm thinking since we are going very Rs heavy on these first few episodes, I might use the archwood logs a lot. Let's see. What's my favorite color of archwood logs? Honestly, I really like the yellow, but I don't have any. Well, we'll go with blazing for the moment, and we'll grab this archwood sconce. Let's just grab all this archwood stuff. In fact, we'll just look up R's real quick and grab all of this stone, all this source stone out, and decide how we want it to look when we get down there. Now, again, you see, their color scheme seems to be dark purple and gray. So it's a very cold color scheme, but they also have a lot of gold. So let me see if I have anything that looks like gold, that isn't gold. No, I don't have a whole lot. I'm thinking if I remember right, I found ochrum in the caves. So we're gonna go snatch a little bit of that. I'm gonna switch out my pickaxes for some stone pickaxes. And I might just make a tool swapper. I should have the material. There's that first one. And here's the second one. Wonderful. Let's pop the tool swapper in there and then say, don't use my diamond pickaxes. Ignore durability and ignore NBT. Yes, that's correct. Block those. We will put our tools in here and head down. Let's go see if we can find some ochrum. Or ochrum. Unfortunately, we did not end up finding ochrum. However, we are resplendent underground with lush caves and deep, glowing caverns. And we're back. I hear an Enderman, and I kind of want to capture him, but, yeah, as some of you know from my last post, I suffered a loss this last weekend, and that's why this video is late. My beloved kitty, Tink, went into the beyond peacefully, and I am so lucky to have had the time that I had with him. But it was time for him to move on. But anyway, life is for the living, and those who are present here. So, on with what we were up to. In the beginning of all of this, I was having a little bit of trouble with this. Turns out that they have to be, like, right on this henge. So, you want it adjacent. And as you can see, we've gotten our pearls and our blaze rods. We've also got experience, and because we got a warped fungus enderman, we have warped fungus as well. That's quite nice. Now, what all did we need for the things that we need? We need a scry crystal and we need an enchanter's eye. So the scry crystal is made with an eye of ender and a source gem. Oh my goodness. It'll get through eventually. So in the case that you were wondering about that, we're kind of double dipping on the source over here. We're using the agronomic source link to gather source from these growing, and then we're having a starbuncle put the berries into this, which are dropping them onto this mycelial source link. This mycelial source link uses food as a source of source. So, see that? Took that, and it's going to fill up its little buffer and then send it right on, as you can see. Oh, night's coming on. Let's go up into our ship and make our last bits here. So we know we need pearls. I'm gonna take all but 10 of these blaze rods for the moment. We can, of course, get more. And we have our Eye of Ender. There we are. I love the strangeness that these worlds have. Otherworldly beings and stealing their body parts to make magical things happen. Very exciting. You know, I'm also gonna need a cow and maybe a sheep and a chicken for this guy to watch over. But we'll do that in a little bit. For now, I'm going to come down here and grab some source gems, thank you. I'm going to head away from that, and we might take out the mycelial source link later because that is blindingly annoying. We may also have them deposit it in a different way. There's a few schools of thoughts that can make it to where they don't just repick it back up. So, first off, for our scry crystal, there we are. We're also going to need, if I remember right, not that one. For the enchanter's eye, we're going to need 4 blaze powder and 4 pearls surrounding scry crystal, so we need 2 of these. How are you doing over here? Fine? Good. Good, 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 good. So we're just gonna do a quick ritual. Oh, we just need the pearls, not the Eyes of Ender. Well, I'll be taking those back. And there's our enchanter's eye. Now, let's see how these work together. So I am going to put this scry crystal right here. And we are going to do something with that. Actually, I think if I remember right, yes. What we're going to do is we're going to need our scribe's table, and we're going to use this on a scry crystal. So that sets this position, all right? Sounds weird? I know. We'll make it understandable very shortly. Now, I need a scribe's table, and I don't believe I've made one. And we're going to take that scribe's table. Oh, I haven't made one. The Mabapi gives me away, but we're going to put this right next to this inventory. I know that sounds weird, but I promise it will make sense. No, I hate that. That's backwards. There we go. Now, with this scribe's table, we can do a whole lot. Namely, make the glyphs to be able to make spells in our spell book. But first, we're going to use the enchanter's eye on it. Actually, wait. That's wrong. We need the spell book. Oh, and I've already collected a whole bunch of those. Also, I ended up getting an eternal stake at one point. I don't remember if I showed you all of that, but an eternal stake is very useful for if I get hurt, it will immediately assist in adding hearts. There's our novice spellbook. So let's talk about using this table. As you can see, we have a few of these glyphs already opened. I've opened up a few, I believe, and here's all of like tier 1, which is what my spellbook is at. I can make the spellbook more powerful if I use the enchanting apparatus to do so. But first, we have a projectile, which you would get by using a fletching table and an arrow, but if I remember right, touch comes automatically. So, we do need that projectile. We also need one called interact. So we need a lever, a pressure plate, a button, and a manipulation essence. We have a few of these things. Let's select this one. And anything in our inventory should pop out. As you can see, we did have one of the things, a lever. So we're going to get a button, a pressure plate, and a manipulation essence, which we have in our inventory, into our big vault. And it will automatically take that. That's quite nice. I didn't know if it could do that with the vaults. I just wanted to be able to easily get a hold of glyphs. All of these things use items to make your spells, so you have to sacrifice some things. And here we go. Oh, I missed out on the animation. The pen goes over here, the top uncorks, and the pen dips in twice and writes it out. And here is our glyph of interact. So we're going to unlock that. Lovely. So now we can put this enchanter's eye onto the table, but first we have to make a spell. Actually, you know, to make a spell, you use a hotkey. So this is our spell book. You can do about 1,000,000 things with the spell style. I can get into that maybe in another video, but this is so much more advanced, and I love playing around with it. You can make your spell look like anything. Oh my goodness, the rain. But that's alright, we're going to get through it. So we're going to use projectile and interact on this. And we're just going to call this interact. Now we're going to put our enchanter's eye onto the table, and we're going to crouch and set the spell. Now, watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. If I say I want to get into my inventory, look at that. It projectiled and interact at this. And because I interact with this to get into my inventory regularly, now I can go all the way down here. And here we are. And I can use my enchanter's eye and still get into my inventory. That may not be the easiest way of setting up a wireless storage. However, it's the one I know the best. So, now we've gotten all of this taken care of. And I am very, very happy with it. But, you know, our island isn't looking the best. Everything's just kind of sitting out and boring and kind of dark, dreary, and awful, especially with this rain. So we are going to make everything look nicer. Let me head up to sleep because it is going to drive me crazy. I may even make a little shack down here from me because the ship was a way to get here and be able to stay here easily. But I think we're not outgrowing it quite yet, but I'm kind of done with it. I'm kind of done with having to go to here and then up here and then over here. And also, another thing, I didn't have to turn off my waypoints. There is a secondary map that also marks down your death points, which is useful but aggravating. Looky there, right there. You, clear all death waypoints. Perfect. So let's go into our settings over here. We're going to turn the create death waypoints on death off, because we already have something that does that. Also, I cannot get this island out of my head. This island over here. I cannot get it out of my head. I really might build there on the next go-round. For now, let's continue on our small island. I really do like it. And we can make a small, maybe tram line or something on over to here later on. It looks like there's ruins on this one as well. So now that we finally have our wireless set up, I'm just going to deposit that Eye of Ender. I lied. I'm going to keep those Eyes of Ender, and I'm going to put them into my inventory. We're going to move our food because we actually have an auto-feeding back. We don't have an auto-feeder. We need an auto-feeder. That's something that we're going to get maybe sometime today, maybe sometime soon, but we're going to put all of this stuff up. Not the Dominion Wand. I will lose it. That goes there. So we have our spell book. We have a few spaces that we have to organize and make look nice. So let's get started on one of them. I think we're going to combine two into one. First off, we're going to combine our mine and our Amethyst collection. And we're also going to combine our garden with our Drigme area. I think I have a decent idea on how to do so. So we got started first on the Amethyst that's going to sit on the outside of the mine. We use, of course, Amethyst, calcite, and the smooth basalt from the Amethyst below, effectively bringing it up above the ground. Now, this will make it to where our golem produces quite a bit of Amethyst shards. Eventually, it will not be able to put too much in the chest, so we may add some chest upgrades. But as of for now, I think it'll be a while before that chest fills up. That is starting to look really, really wonderful. I am loving it. The mine should be relatively simple. I think I'm going to go with source stone. We've got some of this. We've got some gilded source stone from an unknown source that I do not remember. Yes, it can be any base stone, by the way. You don't have to do regular stone. You can do granite, you can do andesite, you can do diorite. I don't know if it works with tuff, but that doesn't matter. And we're going to take these into the stone cutter, and you can see we have a bunch of different variants. I'm probably going to go with the brighter variant. Or I would if they had stairs. But they don't. We're going to go with this many stairs, and I'm still going to go with this one. I think we're going to go with these small brick, smooth, gilded source stones. So we set about making the actual mine. I made it a simple A-frame with a bit of brighter color up front. After that, I laid some dirt in and terraformed the area just a bit to make it look a little bit nicer. The sand was driving me crazy. Perfect. We're gonna have to... Whoops. Perfect. We're going to have to terraform around this area just a smidgen, but I actually really like this mine. It's super simple, super easy. And I think the colors are working out lovely. Let's get a few... We had some sconces, didn't we? We had a sconce. That's perfectly fine. We're going to place that up here. Now, we can't light it in a regular way. I will show you how to light that up. I mean, I guess you could just stick a torch on top of it, but I don't think it would fit. Or look really nice. Right, so in order to light the sconces, the mage lights, and all of those things, we need another spell. Because your first spell book comes with two different things. It comes with touch, and I believe it comes with break. I also believe it comes with harm by default. So we're going to go to our second spell slot. As you can see, these tabs determine which spell you're on. You can name them. Oh, also we'll go over the familiars at a later time. So we're going to go with touch. And you'll notice we don't have one of them. So we actually need a spell called light. Right here, conjure mage light. We need a lantern and a torch for those. And here we can watch the full animation. How beautiful. I love it. Glyph of Conjure Mage Light. So now we can say touch and conjure mage light, and I'm just going to call that, you know what? We're going to call that touch light. I really need to gate off that portal. I will gate off that portal soon. Oh, and look. Looky, looky. Our budding amethyst is blooming out. Now, touch mage light. There we are. You can change the color of that at any given point. You can also change how all of this sounds. Ah, there we are. You have to actually... Ooh, I can do wisp. Oh, I am going to have to get into this. But we're going to go to this kind of sky blue, and we're going to pull that saturation down. There we are. Oh! The wisp puts it slightly to the side. Aww. They're a little different, aren't they? How cute. So we're going to just say light. Actually, we might go with brazier. Ooh, that's a big one. Let me see what the light does. Ah, that is a little bit better. I love it. Oh my goodness. Look how cute it is. Looking at it, maybe we stick a retaining wall over here, and then a stairway down and around over here. Also, if you use Amplify on your light spell, it will make it glow brighter. And for the last time lapse of the episode, we're going to make those stairs and retaining wall that I was talking about. On the other side, we use a lot more basalt and deep slate, so it can make it look a little bit dour, but I think the amethyst on the outside portion really brings up the light levels. Also, the archwood stairs, I think, work out pretty well. Right, so that's it for the mine. Kind of. I do feel like I need more lighting around here. We will think on that in just a moment. Once I add in some mage light sconces, and maybe, honestly, I might add just something here in this dark pocket. With so much purple, things start blending into each other, so do consider using more contrasting blocks. You know, it might be dark because there's a giant ship in the air making noon, or apparently 4, be a problem for my island. That is just fine. Well, unfortunately, that's all we have time for. Next time, we should be making the Drigme area and the Sourceberry Garden. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you next time.